Welcome to the Still Young, Still Caring podcast, a podcast by young carers, for young carers, and the professionals that support them in their lives. This podcast normally takes a deep dive into the world of young carers, their experiences, and give you a little bit of an insight into their day-to-day lives. However, we have a little bit of a special episode this time. As you can see by the lovely bunting and the badges that we are all wearing, it's Volunteers Week. And because of that, we thought we'd do a special episode on volunteering, what volunteering means, and talk to volunteers and some of the people that support them in amongst kind of everything else to, hopefully kind of get people more engaged in volunteering, get people to come in and volunteer for us and for other organisations, and just celebrate them in general. So, as always, I'm Scott. I'm the Youth Participation Lead at Gloucestershire and Carers, and this week I have with me
Megan.
Charlotte.
What's your role, Charlotte?
I am the volunteer coordinator, so I help and support and manage, recruit and retain all of our volunteers.
Fantastic. So, as always, we will start this episode with an icebreaker. And for anyone that's watched all the episodes, Smarties game, woohoo! And basically, for anyone that hasn't watched the Smarties game, pick a Smartie, and each colour Smartie correlates to a specific question. So,
Okay, I'm going in blind.
don't look.
Green.
Blue.
So, we'll start with Meg. You said green.
Yeah, I got green.
Green's always the awkward one because it's wild card, which means you can pick any of the questions. So, your favourite food, your least favourite school subject. If you could go on holiday anywhere in the world, where would you go? If you were a superhero, what power would you have? Something that makes you happy. Favourite band/artist, or something that makes you angry?
Oh, I'm going to have to do band and artists because
Ooh,
I've
go on.
got too many. Too many. However, I'd say my favourite is a band called Set It Off. I've seen them twice, once in Birmingham and once in Leeds, and when I was in Leeds I got to meet them.
Nice.
So my favourite artists.
And what type of music would you say they are? For anyone that may be interested in finding more about Set It
They
Off.
are very much alternative. They've started to hit more into the heavy metal side of the music industry.
Interesting. Nice. Charlotte, what colour?
Blue.
Blue. If you were a superhero, what superpower would you have?
That's actually difficult. I always think bog standard mind reading is not the one. But if I could teleport anywhere, so if I'm just sat there and I'm bored at home and I think I could go swimming in Australia right now and I could teleport there, that would be a good skill to have.
It is a good. It's quite a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. And I'm colourblind. Meg, what colour is this?
Orange.
That's an orange. I love the fact I picked a game that I really can't do. Orange. My least favourite school subject.
Ooh.
I hated drama.
Did you?
Hated drama.
I took it for GCSE.
Nah.
I didn't love it like that, but I hated geography.
Geography.
Yeah, I was so bad at
Nah,
geography.
I found most of them interesting, but drama was one like standing up and talk, which is ironic because that's basically my job
I know.
now. But I hated.
Sat here with a camera in front of him now.
I absolutely hated doing drama and anything that was kind of in front of people. I was
Yeah.
like, no, just let me hide away and go to the back. So there we go. Brilliant. So, like I said, the theme of this episode is around volunteers and around Volunteer Week in particular, as you can see on, like I say, the lovely bunting. We are going to be doing lots of different things across Volunteer Week to celebrate volunteers. And it is perfect that I have the volunteer coordinator with me today to kind of explain a little bit more about, I guess, what Volunteer Week is and why do we do it.
Yeah, so Volunteer Week, it is a national recognised week. It starts on the first Monday of June for the next week, so we are quite lucky this year it starts on the 1st and ends on the 7th. It's taken place to give reward and recognition to all of the volunteers who support your charity. So at our charity, we have a lovely community that we are growing at the moment, and we would like to recognise them for all the support they give to all of our young carers.
Amazing. And I guess, obviously, we say about the volunteers that we have, but what type of things do our volunteers do?
Good question. There's a lot that they actually do. We have a lot of different roles. The main role that we do have is supporting young carers, whether that be at group sessions or activity sessions. We do have different roles involving fundraising. We have a sort of new role. We haven't developed it too much further yet, which is our community ambassador, where we have asked volunteers to go out into their local community to reach out to different businesses, schools, GP, healthcare, to try and make connections for us. They will also go out and give talks in those local communities. We also have skills workshops, so if you out there have a skill that you think our young carers might enjoy, you can come in and produce a workshop for them and present it to them at one of our group sessions. But the be-all and end-all for all our volunteering is to make sure that our young carers feel supported, seen and heard. So when you come in to volunteer with us, you will have the training for that, and we will make sure you have all the expertise to recognise that in young carers.
Amazing. Now, obviously, we're here to talk about volunteers, and both of you, one is a current volunteer and one is a previous volunteer who is now working with us. But there is a common thread between you two and kind of the organisation as a whole, and that is both of you are young carers / young adult carers. So I thought it'd be good idea to kind of get a little bit of insight into that side of it as well, and kind of give a little bit of insight into those that do volunteer with us, the type of people and the type of young people that they do get to work with and the experiences that they have. So I guess we'll start with you, Meg, because you've been surprisingly quiet so far. I guess let's kind of get a little bit insight into you and your caring role and what that looked like for you and kind of what you've done with us, I guess, and that you will have seen kind of volunteers in amongst all of those kind of activities and stuff.
So, that's interesting. So I've been a part of GYC since the age of 18, but I've been caring for my younger sister since the age of 14, 15. She has complex health needs that includes a plethora of chronic illnesses. And my day-to-day life would be, because we went to the same secondary school, so helping her get change or giving her a medication, helping parents with the washing up in the evening, in between that trying to do schoolwork. But the only reason why I say I wasn't identified until I was 18 was because I was in my final year of college. My tutor for 2 years was my course. The first year she was like, Meg, you're a young carer. I was like, no. Second year she was like, Meg, you are a young carer. There is support out there. So that's when I did my referral to GYC. And since then, I've just been with them just before COVID. I literally joined. And then I did because we have like an annual like Christmas activity kind of thing for young carers to meet up, do some Christmassy activities. We've had every month theatres, we've done dancing, we've done circuit skills, all of the fun stuff. And then it was March and COVID hit and everything was online. So we did, because they also helped me go to university as well. We did like online activities. So they sent like a package to do with like the activities and just brought basically kind of what we do in activities into like home life. And basically that's what they did. Like they helped me with like not only connecting to other people and having one-to-one support, but also just giving me that bit of a nudge into, because I was very much adamant. I was like, I'm not going to university even though I really want to. They were like, go to university, put yourself first. So I went to university and got my degree, about to go into university again, do masters, and they very much helped me with doing all of the understanding of, hey, this is not just your life. This is not what your life revolves around. You also evolve around you. So they just basically helped doing that. And then I've done actually quite a few projects for GYC. So I've done a talk, once again, before COVID. I did a talk to a women's group in Hucklecote with a previous member staff. I've done a talk at my college at the time. I've done talks at other colleges. To be honest, I actually can't remember how many things I've done because there's too many.
I mean, just before work, like coming here, we literally delivered a training session.
Yes, we did. We did
online to teachers.
There's too many things I've done with GYC.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and then also evolving from being a carer, because I'm not so much a carer anymore. Since my sister has moved and everything, she's moved in with her partner now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite nice. So, and also her conditions became more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have to like do so much. It was just more so reminding her about medications sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the odd one. So I was just like, I'll come, like, because I'm 24 now, about to be 25 in September. So I'm moving out of the system, but then coming back as a volunteer to give back, essentially.
Excellent. And you kind of, I mean, I feel like I can lead on from that, but I am going to go to Charlotte to say kind of, I guess, similar to a degree.
Yeah, we are quite similar. I think we both look after our younger sisters. Mine is a bit different because my sister has something called global development delay. So her, even though she's only a year younger, she has a lot of a younger brain age than a normal person would. And she has a lot of behaviour issues that come with that. My role, even though I'm not heavily caring anymore, and I have taken a little step back, growing up I was still heavily caring. Daily routines, taking her to school, picking her up, washing, bathing, all of those sorts of things, cooking the dinner for the family. So mum and dad would work and we would come back. But I really came into GYC when I was 16 and I was going into A-levels, and the jump up from GCSE to A-levels was a big hit for me, and I was really struggling to maintain school, actually working my first big girl job at the time, and taking on my care role, looking after my sister. So support at the school I was going to at the time said they would get in touch with GYC. GYC came in and we had a meeting at school with all my family, and from that on I was able to get that one-to-one support, the extra tutoring hours that I needed with the school, to be able to get my A-levels up so I can get into university. I have since gone to university and got my degree. And even though I was at university, I was still volunteering or fundraising with GYC. So 2022, I did the triple Snowdonia challenge, which included 10k cycle, climbing Snowdon and back down, and then the 3k kayak. So I raised a little bit of money for them there.
Oh my gosh.
And,
unbelievable.
It was hard. And it was the hottest day of the year when we did it. It was hard. And then since then, I have volunteered as well. I did that partly because at university one of our modules needed volunteering hours, so I started filling those up, but also because I wanted to give back, because they were able to support me so much through university, and there were so many things out there that I was able to access that had I not come to GYC I wouldn't know anything about. So that support throughout university really helped me, and I decided to give back. So I've done predominantly fundraising, largely with Sue, and
you did the snow, obviously the Snowdonia challenge. Did you do a marathon?
I have run them. I've run London Marathon, but I didn't do that for anything because I got in on the ballot. So I just opted to do it for myself.
You had, I've got to bring this up because you had quite an interesting story when you did the marathon.
I signed up on a whim with some of my friends, and I was the only one to get in. And my manager at the time, she had been trying for 10 years to get in on the ballot. She's an avid runner. She runs every day sort of thing. She's in a run club. I did not run at this point. I just played netball. And she was there like, you've got to take it. You won't ever get an opportunity like this again. And you had a month to decide. So we came through at 2:30 on the day. And by 4:00 I had signed up and said, yes, I'd take it on.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I did the London Marathon. It wasn't very... wasn't the best run I've ever done. At 19k, a lovely lady in front of me, we were keeping pace, and it was a little slippy from... Essentially, it was really hot. We were told the day before they were expecting highs of about 21. It wasn't. It was 32 degrees by 12 o'clock. It was absolutely baking. A lot of people were unprepared. So a lot of people who come and watch you and stood in their gardens on the road, they have like hoses out. hoses mixed with running gels that are on the floor get very slippy. And this lovely lady who was running with me, she slipped and fell down. In my haste to help her, I didn't slow down, I just abruptly stopped, and my lovely leg here just popped out. And then as I went to pick her up to help her, because she had fallen down face first, popped out even more. And when I realised I couldn't pick her up, paramedics came rushing and picked this lovely lady up, and we were in the medical tent then for about 45 minutes until she was taken off to hospital. But I did not sit down, and the paramedic, kept saying to me to keep walking. Hopefully it would feel a little bit better, because he knew I kept saying I was not finishing, I was carrying on. Fast forward, that was about, 19k was about, and it's 20k, so that's half the marathon. I was about an hour and 45 minutes in at this point, just took it real steady. Lo and behold, nearly 7 hours later, I'd been pulled off the course 3 times, and every time I had run off as fast as I could run. But I did finish the London Marathon.
It wasn't very fast by the sound of it.
No, it was not. It was not. It was painful, and I did fracture my femur. And the worst thing I did was we didn't stay that night in London, so we had to travel out of London to get to the car, then come all the way back to Gloucester, and I was led on the back seat with my legs up strapped in. God. And when I first sat down, it took me about 20 minutes to be able to get back up again. But where I'd led like that, my leg, when we came out, was all swollen. And I refused to go to A&E in London because I thought, I'll be there hours, and we're in London, like, that's not worth it. I'd rather come to Gloucester.
London during the London Marathon.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be... Well...
I went to minor injuries the next morning just to see if there was anything we could do, because A&E after the weekend is not the one to go in on a Monday morning. No. And they refused to x-ray it because of how badly swollen it was. So I was given crutches and was told to keep off it and to go in when it was reduced. And when it was reduced and I went in, they did all the x-rays and they were like, you have fractured your femur. So I was out of action for a little while. Albeit, lovely day, brilliant experience. I wouldn't 10/10 recommend it.
I'm not surprised.
I know. I haven't heard there's a lot of horror stories you hear about it, but it was an experience. I would never opt to do anything like that again.
Why does that sound worse than doing the cheese roll?
Wow, the cheese roll, yeah. A Gloucestershire special in the cheese roll. I wonder if we've ever had anyone fundraise by doing the cheese roll.
Are you offering?
Have you seen my niece? No.
Don't put the idea in Tony's head, because she will think that now.
I think, like I said, there's so many different ways that people can volunteer for us, and obviously fundraising is one that you obviously kind of came in on, and you know, we always appreciate anyone that kind of fundraises for us in any capacity. And I know the London Marathon is always a big one, and we've got some kind of parents and individuals that have said, yeah, I always apply, and you know, I'd love to try and raise money. So yes, if there's anyone else out there that would love to, ignoring Charlotte's horror story of what happened to her, it's still better than anything I could have ever done. And
I sit there and I think it was awful, but I did it, and not a lot of people actually finish it. And even if I was crawling, I would have finished that.
Yeah,
so
you got the determination.
Determination, exactly.
But I guess, like, from that, and you know, asking the question as to why both of you decided to volunteer with us, I guess the obvious answer is because you're both young carers, or were young carers, and obviously kind of work with us. But I guess you don't have to volunteer. And I guess, what was it that drove you to wanting to volunteer? I'll go to you, Meg, first.
I'd say it's just like, it's seeing what everybody else has done. So when we've had like activities and everything, there's always not only staff, but there's also like volunteers that we've met as well. So there's a few that I have recognised with actually applying to become a volunteer and everything. It's just like, it's a way of like giving back in a sense, because I know for a factor that if I didn't have GYC, I wouldn't have gone to uni. For a start, I would not have gone to uni. I wouldn't have gone to uni until later on in life. I'd probably still be like, the work I was doing, I was in hospitality, and as a lot of people know, hospitality can be hit and miss with how you work. But basically, I would probably be a lot more stressed in my life if I didn't have GYC. So like doing this and giving back, and also helping other like young carers understand and have that understanding is like the best thing ever.
And again, you've kind of
Similar,
done a little
yeah.
bit,
Always want to give back, but I always think volunteering, the word volunteering, it has a stigma behind it. It's a bit of a taboo subject. People think you only volunteer when you're older, particularly in retirement age, when you've got time on your hands, but it's not the case at all. The younger you start it, the better habit you create for yourself, and you appreciate the smaller things to make things run. So had I not come in and done that volunteering when I first came back, I wouldn't have realised all the behind the scenes that you guys do and how much it takes just for one young carer. And that made me realise how important it is to have as many volunteers as you can to be able to help as many young carers as we can. So when I did that, that was what was on my mind. I wanted to fundraise as much as we can, get more activities, get more events for young carers to be able to have that break and have their individuality.
And I think you said about kind of what you learned personally kind of from volunteering. Obviously you say kind of doing it at a younger age, there's perks to it and different kind of positives to it. What would you say are some of the positives about volunteering? Like what do people get out of it if they kind of start at a younger age in particular?
It's a good one to work on your confidence, big time, especially when you're not necessarily, I'm not going to say I throw you into the deep end when you're going to an event, but you will be pushed out of comfort zones in some areas or another. And whilst we train you, you could have as much training as you possibly can, you probably still would be nervous. And it's a good idea to push yourself out there and break down that fear and go over that boundary and give yourself that confidence. It's a really good way of making connections. So I'm a big believer in it's not what you know, it is who you know. And it doesn't matter what sector you work in. You see, across the charity sector, you will see so many different companies, businesses, people, that you can make those connections. And it might not necessarily be for work, it might be for an extra activity you want to do or get something else you want to get involved in. And coming in and volunteering will help you get there.
And I guess, Meg, obviously you are now a volunteer with us, and you've done different things. And I think, we've, even myself in kind of the few years that I've known you now, I've seen quite a development in yourself. What have you got personally out of kind of obviously the things that you've done maybe with us that link to volunteering, but also now the volunteering that you do?
There's a lot. I have to admit there's a lot. So of course I've been volunteering for very long, so I've ended up helping with like universities, mainly in Gloucestershire, of course, so UOG. Doing freshers.
Hartbury, we did Hartbury.
Oh yeah, we did Hartbury a couple of years ago. It was good because we had like students come up to us and asking questions, and even some of the staff coming up and asking questions. Like, it was so good to have that. And bear in mind, like, this was sixth formers college, I think.
College and university, I believe.
Yeah. So you've got like what? 16 between like 16, 18 plus kind of people coming in and asking the questions. So what is this all about? And you're talking to them, and sometimes you see like a light switch go off and go, okay, this is actually quite interesting, because of course once again it's not a like word, it's more of a word of mouth kind of thing. It's not like plastered everywhere. It's more of like learning what to do, and then doing the talks with at Cirencester College. I've done, of course, I did one at Stroud College. Individual things, and actually getting the word of mouth and actually speaking to teachers has been the biggest thing for me, because that was the one thing I wanted to do, was to speak to staff members about young carers, about the impact that they have.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I say, that awareness raising is so important. And again, another thing that kind of our volunteers do help us with in terms of, as a team, we do our best, but the more kind of people you have out there, the better. And that Hartbury Freshers, I'm going to bring it back a bit, because That Hartbury Freshers was a tough one, and I say that because I was dressed up as a bear I was H in incredible heat.
Really?
No, it was muggy. It wasn't warm. It was muggy because it had rained the day before, and it was just we were in like basically their arena, like because of the horses.
It's like where they do their horses and stuff. It was hot.
It was muggy. It was hot.
Why are you H the bear?
I'm always H the bear.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, spoiler alert. But what ended up happening was for social media content, which I never actually saw, I ended up doing an assault course
as H
the bear,
oh my gosh.
with Meg guiding me around because I couldn't see anything. And we're talking like tyre flips.
How long ago was this?
2 years ago.
Has H the bear been washed since? Yeah, I'm not wearing H the bear.
No, these tyre flips though, they were like
huge.
I think they were
High
like
rocks
the
level.
front.
Yeah. I'm not a high rocks athlete.
The front tyre of a tractor.
Yeah, we've already mentioned that Scott has dodgy knees as well. Can you imagine
Yeah,
that?
no. I mean, to be fair, this was before I'd injured myself again. That was probably part of the course. But
this was laughable because the fact you're just trying to like go right. You need to do this. You need to do this. Right, there's a tyre there, and I'm just there like going, oh my god, I really hope he doesn't fall.
No, it was quite something, and like I say, it was afterwards where because you can't just take the head off while you're like in amongst all the people. So we had to go around the corner and hide, take the head off, and I'm just there with Meg like
literally, I'm not joking.
What? So hot. So yes, it was quite something. Yeah, it was quite something. But good events, and the Freshers events are always good. And obviously you now kind of help us with our Freshers events a lot in terms of that. And I think we talk about obviously young carers and what we've done, and we talk about fundraising, we're talking about kind of awareness raising, but you've kind of explained, both of you there, about you as young carers. And the one thing with the awareness raising is trying to make people aware that what a young carer is and the type of things they may go up to and where you might spot them. And to volunteer, a lot of people will volunteer because they do have a personal connection to a place, and that's amazing, and any volunteering is great. But I think everybody will know a young carer in some capacity. You might not know it, but you may have a family member that has an illness. You may have a friend from school that kind of suffers with a disability or is struggling with their mental health, and because of that there is a chance that there's a young carer there. And all of these young people that we support, we can't do what we do in terms of like the activities and the respite without those volunteers. And like I said, the more you know about kind of Gloucestershire young carers, more you know about young carers as a whole, chances are you'll kind of realise how many young carers you do actually know and how you can support them in any way, shape or form. And I guess I get in terms of the activities and the respite groups, I mean, I help on them. Obviously, I work here, so that's kind of the reason. But they're really fun. Like, they're great activities. And to come and help, like Cotswold Wildlife Park, where we have like 90 young people. Yeah. Like, we can't do that.
You're getting a day out,
volunteers.
realistically. Yeah. You are getting a day out whilst you're there. I could be pretty confident in saying, anybody here listening thinking, well, I don't really know what a young carer is. Like, I don't see the point in volunteering with them if I don't know anything about them. I would put money on it that you would come and you would want to come back, because we do fun sessions. We do give them their childhood, their breaks, and they absolutely love it. And they love you when you're there.
Yeah. And I mean, Meg, you've been, well, both of you probably have been on activities and groups with volunteers that have benefited.
I've been on it twice where we've done the Cotswold Water Park. Oh my god! But the 2 times I've gone on
Is this the day at the lake?
Yeah, day at the lake.
Day at the lake.
Day at the lake. It's brilliant because we're all like, I've been like paddleboarding, but the 2 times I've gone, it's been cloudy.
Yeah.
Typical.
The 2 times I've gone, it's been cloudy. So I'm like. But it's so fun because we're all like, we're messing about, we're like basically
just being kids.
We're being kids, but bear in mind we're like from the age of like 16 to 24, so we're in between that teenage, young adult stage. But
never
at the same
too
time,
young, never too old.
you're being a teenager, you're having a mess about, like, we're running about, we're, like, kicking, like, I think someone brought a football the second time I went.
I was supposed to say, I hope you were kicking a football
I
and
know.
nothing else. So I wondering what you were about to say then.
No, like, kicking a football and everything. And going down to, like, the little, like, beachy kind of bit, like, paddling in there, having, like, a catch-up with everybody else, like, what's been going on. Like, just being, like, proper teenagers.
Yeah.
Proper teenagers. And not having to worry about what's going on at home, because we're like, yeah, we're here, we're having fun, we're having a barbecue. Oh, who actually lit the fire? Someone actually, we were sorting out the barbecues. Some of the young carers sorting out the barbecues.
Was this the second day at the lake?
I think it was the second time I went to the lake.
Yeah, so that was the first time that I went to,
yeah.
and was probably the first time I would have met you without even realising it, because that was the first thing I did with the young adult carers. So
Yeah.
high chance.
It was fun.
But yes, it ended up, I think, we
Watching-
struggled to light the fire that day. And,
It's watching the adults. It's
Right.
watching you guys trying to, like,
I had nothing
barbecue,
to do with it.
and they had no clue how to do it, and we're just there like, right, done.
Yeah, there was some issues with the lighting of the barbecue that day, if I remember rightly.
It was the
but,
wind.
That's exactly what we blamed.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, this is it. It could be fundraising. It could be awareness raising, going out, giving speeches. It could be, like I say, your community ambassadors and kind of being that person that could kind of is constantly just drip feeding in that knowledge about young carers. It could be, like I say, respite groups, activities where every single one is completely different. It could be bowling, it could be water sports, could be we've done dry slopes, we've done the Cotswold Wildlife Park.
There was time.
Mini golf.
So
much
what
you can
forest
You've
school
had-
stuff.
Yeah.
You've
It's
had,
incredible.
you've had Staventon as well.
Yeah.
With, like,
Yep.
I didn't go to it. I saw photos, which was really cool. But, like, you had, like,
The
the
airport trip.
airplanes,
Yep.
Yeah.
the drive, the
Yep.
lot. Like, this is not only, like, giving young people, like, a sense of, like,
Normality
normality
we
for
can
once in
do,
their life.
yeah.
But, like, giving them experiences
Yeah.
and everything. Like, I did within my uni, I had a year out, it's placement year. I was at a SEND school, and I was like, do you know what, this is the perfect opportunity to talk about GYC, because there's loads of SEND children, like, you know, a handful of, well, probably all of them had siblings.
Or someone that is
It
a
was
young
someone
carer,
there.
yeah.
Like, you know, it's getting the word of mouth out there. And I did
Yeah.
actually have a conversation with a teacher about one of the students there and their younger sister, and she was like, "Can I do the referral?" I was like, "Yeah, you could do the referral. If mum can't have time, then if mum doesn't get a chance, then do the referral and just give that child a hand, because that kind of lifeline is a lifeline, because it's giving the child some form of normality to then, I don't know, help build confidence, get to know other people, get to do things that they don't get chances to do, essentially.
So many opportunities open to them, and I think you probably agree with me, Anya. But any talk we've ever given or gone or whatever sort of thing we've been doing, there is always at least one who isn't aware of what a young carer is, who sits there and goes, I actually do know a young carer.
Yeah.
And it is so important, word of mouth.
I've done quite a few talks, and I think it was when we did it at the Cheltenham branch of Gloucestershire College, and I would explain my story. It doesn't matter how many times I've told my story, there's always a couple of people crying.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people crying. So, like, you've gone through all of that and you're only this age, and you're like, it's life.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And I think, like I say, the impact that volunteering has to be able to help us provide what we do, while in addition, as I said, like, it's fun. Like, doing what we do is fun. You know, and just giving young people the opportunity to be young people is seems really simple, but is so important. And I kind of, I guess, if I ask kind of what difference, I guess, do you think it makes to those young people, kind of the activities and that? I know we've kind of touched on it a bit, but I mean, if there was one thing that you think, if you would say volunteering helps us do this for a young person, what would that be? I'll come to the volunteer coordinator first.
Okay. I think it helps those young carers who are going through so much at home, who are typically alone, find friends or people and realise that they are alone in this situation. And when they come in, they'll probably be a little bit nervous, unwilling to open up, but you volunteers, you help us support groups. That means the more people can attend, well, the more young carers can attend our sessions, the more chances there are of other young carers meeting each other and finding those friends, and that willingness then to open up travels from that. So without the volunteer there being able to help assist us and make a bigger group, have an activity session go ahead, that young carer wouldn't possibly meet other people like-minded and being opening up and having that availability to have that support.
Definitely. What do you say, Meg?
Provide the smiles on the kids' faces.
It can be hard sometimes.
It can get very hard. Like, not only are you trying to dabble with like what's going on at home, but then you're like with your own mental health. But having that respite, having that time just to meet other people, get to know them, get to know that you're not alone, make friendships and stuff like that, and then seeing them smile, is like the winner.
No, I'd agree. And yeah, I guess from our point of view then, like a call to action, shall we say, why should people volunteer for Gloucestershire Young Carers?
You should volunteer with us because it opens up so many opportunities across the county. Even if you didn't want to work directly with our young carers, that's absolutely fine because every little helps. I'm not Tesco. Maybe you might have to copyright that one. But
don't take this down.
But even if you came in and you wanted to be a fundraiser and get our awareness out there, that's more opportunities for us to gain partnerships, which hopefully comes along with more further donations, which will then give the young carers more chances to have different activities, host different sessions, etc. Everything does nut down to our young carers are our sole purpose, and we want them to be able to explore and grow and develop themselves. And whether that means more money coming into us to do one-to-one hours with them, more activity sessions that you could volunteer at. If you wanted to host an activity session, if you have a skill out there that you think some young carers might enjoy this, I want to show that off, come tell us, let us know, we can get that sorted. And it doesn't need to be, we do a lot of arts and craft, it doesn't need to necessarily be along those lines. It could be something extremely niche or beyond out there that the young carers might not explore anywhere else. So it's always giving them opportunities to see where they could go in life, what route they want to take.
Amazing. And Meg, what would you say? Why should people come and volunteer for Gloucestershire Young Carers?
It's just everything. Like, you get to see what you do for volunteering. Like, you get to see the impact it has. So I've done like fundraisers where I've walked on broken glass and done hot coals for GYC while being a young carer.
Just to clarify, with training.
With training. We
didn't just make you walk across glass and fire.
No, there was a group of us, and we had training from a lovely woman. I can't remember her name. And, it's like you can do the fundraisers, you can do, you can help with activities, you can help with, I know when we have Cheltenham festivals, like there's been like the Jazz Festival, you do Literature Festival, I don't know if you do the Science Festival, I don't know how many other festivals there are.
Music Festival,
of course. There's so many festivals in Cheltenham, to be honest. But also being able to do like a day out with the kids and even the young adult carers, like having that time out and then providing it for them and like getting them to, gets them to open up. And from like your side of things, it can be as simple as seeing someone smile, knowing that you've changed something in a person's life, being able to provide that some form of support. But like Charlotte says, you do get the training, you get like, we can sort like anything out, like you get
support,
you can speak to the GYC staff about things. You're not left to be volunteers, you're there to be part of a community. And you do not need to give an enormous amount of hours. We are not asking you to put aside every week 5 hours. No, we do not mind your time commitment as long as you have commitment and you think, I've got something that I can give towards GYC.
I will say that I think the time commitment is a thing, and I think when people think of volunteering, they think
Yes.
that it can be quite intensive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. Everyone leads very busy lives, and if it's one evening a month, if it's one day during a school holiday, whatever that might be, the difference that makes can be absolutely massive to allow more young people to access the support that we provide and be able to kind of, like say, achieve what we know they're capable of, and just allow them to be young people and have fun. So 100%. And I think, regardless of age, you may be an adult and you may be kind of looking, okay, I want to give back to the community within Gloucestershire, wherever that may be. Could it be Stroud, Cheltenham, Gloucester, Forest of Dean, Cotswolds, wherever it may be. It may be that you are in a workplace and you are looking for a charity to support and say, look, we've got staff here that can come and help on activities and be able to fundraise, etc. Anything like that is absolutely vital, important for any charity to kind of keep providing what they do. And for the young adult carers out there, obviously we've spoken to Meg, we've spoken to Charlotte, who are both young adult carers. But for any of you that are thinking, I really want to give back to GYC, or even actually my course is saying that I need to do volunteering, or actually I think it'd be really good for me to be able to develop my skills in public speaking, if you want to do awareness raising, kind of a bit of confidence, even for anyone that's interested in kind of going into the realm of kind of social work or working with young people,
work,
the amount of opportunities that are available can be massive. And any young adult carers that are with us that are watching, please get in contact with myself or Charlotte, and we can see how we can support you in that way. So I guess we've said why they should volunteer for us or other charities. How do they volunteer for us or other charities? Charlotte, take it away.
You can, as Scott has said already, you can contact any of us at GYC and we can put you in the loop. But on our website, we will have an initial inquiry form. You will then fill that out. It has your basic details, which asks for the contact details, etc. I will then reach out to you, and we will have a bit of an informal meeting just to see what you're into, see what fits you best, what sort of things are you getting or would you like from volunteering, what can we provide you. We will then follow on with an application form and then the mandatory things, so for example DBSs. Following on from that, we will run a training programme for you, so we need you to have, if you are working with our young carers, you will need to be required to have safeguarding, health and safety, etc. And then once all of those are complete and we are satisfied that you are ready to volunteer in, you'll be able to go and volunteer. I know we have mentioned a lot of things like the activities. We do have a plethora of roles. So if you're sat there thinking that that's not a thing for you, do still get in touch because we can always find something for you. We've got admin roles that when a young carer is first referred and our key workers go out and see them, the amount of work it takes for them to have that assessment, we behind the scenes, they do a lot, our key workers do a lot, and we will always need support there. So even if it's volunteering in that way, helping us in the office, in the background, those are the sort of things. We have a newsletter that young carers do produce, and that needs to go out and be distributed. You can get involved in that. If you've got a little niche and you think, I've got artwork that I could do, and you want to display that or have a young carer help you with it, we can get that involved. There's so many different avenues that you could take volunteering with us, so it's always so important to, even in that initial inquiry, just reach out, tell me what you're interested in, and we can always have that chat and find out what you could do for us.
Amazing. So in short, if you are interested, go to our website, www.gloucesteryoungcarers.org.uk. There is a multitude of buttons that say volunteer with us. So if you click on that, fill out the initial form, and you can go through the process that Charlotte just mentioned. And on that, I think we can wrap it up there. So thank you very much, Charlotte. Thank you very much, Megan, for joining us. And hope you enjoyed this episode, and wait for the next one.
Can we finish it off and say thank you to our volunteers?
Of course you can.
Yeah? So for all of our volunteers who are out there and are currently listening to this, Meg included, obviously she is right here. I just want to say from all of us at GYC a really big thank you. Your support does not go unnoticed, and we are extremely grateful for you. Thank you very much for everything that you have been doing for us over the X amount of years that you have all been here.
And that is a lovely way to finish.
Yes.
Thank you, Charlotte. Well, see you next time.